Hello and welcome, my dear friends. Welcome to an interesting review. This time I have for you a vintage Montblanc piston filler, a German piston filler from the 1960s. And today we are going to talk about the Montblanc number 32. This model is very easy to recognize because you can see the band on the cap right over here, this thick ring, and it is engraved Montblanc number 32. Its other feature that distinguish it from the other pens from the 1960s is its semi-hooded nib that looks like this. This particular model has a 585 14 karat semi-hooded nib. I bought this pen recently, my friends. It was part of a lot. So a part of two Montblanc pens. I paid for it around 220 leis, including the shipping cost. This means I paid 44.23 euros or 48.02 US dollars. And I think it's a great price for a vintage Montblanc fitted with a gold nib. I said fitted with a gold nib because I also have in my collection the same fountain pen fitted this time with a steel nib. Just look at it. It's a simple steel nib, no engraving on it. I think it was actually, when it was new, it was also gold plated, because you can see here a part that has its gold plating still intact right at the base, and probably in time the actual gold fitting faded away, and this is the steel nib. And I think that for a fact, because look at the back, we can still see some traces of the gold filling. And actually, my friends, in my collection I have also one that I bought without its gold nib. So it looks like this. Okay, this is missing the gold nib. Somebody took it, and I guess they scrapped it for metals. It's a shame when this happens, but when I can, and look, they did also a small crack when they extracted the nib. But it's not a bad thing. When I find those in the wild, I tend to buy them for really cheap prices, and I use them for spare parts. Returning to our pen, my friends, you can see practically no difference between the steel one and the gold one. The same trims, gold plated trims, the same engravings, they are practically the same. But returning to our fountain pen, it has this very slim look. In fact, I will compare it with the classic Montblanc 146. This is the model from 1983, not the model from the 1950s. It's a little bit larger than the one from the 1950s, but you can see the difference between them. They are both piston fillers, but this is a slimmer one. In fact, I will leave the dimensions on this one on the screen. This is a fatter one. It has a bigger diameter of the barrel. This around 11 millimeters. This around 12 millimeters. So, and let me show you also the nib. This is the number 6 nib of the 146, and this is our semi-hooded nib. Different nibs, but again at different price levels. This you can call it an entry-level Montblanc, the 32 from the 1960s. Okay, let me place this back. And now let me show you other characteristics of the pen. So the minimalistic clip you can see, very nice. The gold plated has stood the test of time, very beautiful. At the end, I simply love this logo of Montblanc. And another interesting feature, we can see we don't have a pressure fit cap, but we have a screw-on cap. And another distinguishing element of design for the Montblanc 32 is this ink window that acts like a transparent ink window, but also in the same time acts like the thread for the cap. An interesting design, but in my point of view, the ink window is not so clear as other models that have the ink window over here. Rather interesting and specific to this Montblanc 32. I did not show you the feeder. It has a wonderful feeder, ebonite feeder, and something about the design reminds me of the Parker 51. And as I told you, it is a piston feeder. I hope I don't have ink in it, but the piston operates turns like this. And next, my friends, I will make a writing sample. And what is interesting, I will make a writing sample with the gold nib and in the same time with the steel nib, and we'll see the differences between the two types of nibs. By the way, my friend, before I will start the actual writing sample, of course, I will change a little bit the angle of the camera for you to see better what I'm writing. I think that this will be okay. And I will tell you that the Montblanc Model 32 was available in black, which is the most common color, but it was also available in green and in the burgundy color. They are very nice, and they are rarer models than the black ones. So this is the paper, and let's see. Yes, we will use the royal blue Montblanc ink. Is almost finished, but for a Montblanc product, a Montblanc ink. I will let's see, I need a little tissue. Let's see if I find one. Here is the tissue, and let's start first with the gold one. Okay, I will place it here, and I will draw up ink like this. Okay, let me remove the excess of ink and place it here. And now I will do the same thing with the steel one. The same. I think that this has a little problem with the actual piston. We'll see if it draws ink. Oh, definitely it has a little problem with the ink. I hope it drew sufficient ink for the writing sample. We will see in a minute. So always put back the cap when you are finished inking the pens. And I will use this uncapped, but of course you can cap it. Maybe yes, I will use it capped. So this is a Montblanc .32 fitted with 585 14 karat gold nib. Judging by the way it writes, I think that we have an M nib for a medium nib. Okay, let me put this aside and let's take the steel one. And again, I hope it drew sufficient ink. I'm watching the top of the nib to see what dimension it is. Let me also write with this one. So here we have also a Montblanc, 32. This time fitted with a steel nib, and initially it was gold plated when it was new. This writes a little bit thicker than this one, so I will call it an F nib, F for fine. Okay, now my friends, let me test the different properties of the nibs, and we will start of course with the flexibility test. So I will use the first one, the gold one. Not such a flexy nib as you can see. Now we will test if we have some line variance. So here I'm not applying pressure, here I'm starting to apply pressure, and it is a little bit of a line variance, as you can see. This particular one is quite a juicy nib. It is juicy, but okay, and the smooth nib. It does the signatures quite nice. I like the way it does the signatures. And let me see if we can reverse write with it. So reverse writing. It doesn't scratch, and I think it is feasible for short periods of time. And in reverse writing it writes like an extra fine one. Simple writing it writes like an M1. You can see the difference. Let me put this here, and now we will return to the steel one to see how it operates. We will do the same tests. So here we will see nice, but we don't have a flexible steel nib. Here we will see if we have some line variance. Not applying pressure, I'm starting to apply pressure. And the difference between this and the gold nib is that we don't have a line variance. Here we had a little bit of a line variance. Again, I'm expecting it to be juicy nib, but you can see it doesn't spill when you put your finger on it. Maybe also the paper is a good paper and it absorbs well the ink, as signature one is quite nice. And let's see how it writes in reverse writing. This one, it loses the ink flow, so I don't think it's suitable for reverse writing. Again, it writes like an extra fine in comparison with the fine it usually writes. And now my friends, let's take this one and we will talk about the forks. I will try to write as large as I can, so bear with me for a second. So the quick, okay, focus, please focus. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, and it writes quite interesting. Let me now do the same thing with the steel nib. A little bit of a zoom. Okay, so the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So this is it, my friends. You can see the difference between an M nib and an F nib. What is my favorite between them? I simply love the gold nib. You can see some little line variance, but it also feels smoother than the steel one. Of course, on this version, I think we have a problem with the actual piston. I don't think it drew sufficient ink, but definitely we can see some differences between a steel version 1 and a gold version 1. This was the review, my friends, of a classic Montblanc from the 1960s. It has this simple, elegant look of the 1960s, quite modern at that time, with a bold design and a lovely pen. You can still find it at reasonable prices, my friends, and I advise you to get one if you find it for a reasonable price like I found it. Of course, even 100 euros, it's a reasonable price for a gold version nib of it. So my friends, this was the review. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you liked it, please subscribe, leave comments, and please leave a like to this video. Stay tuned on my channel because in the next days I will post the reviews of some interesting German pieces. I wish you all to have a wonderful day wherever you are. I will see you in the next episode. Till then, bye bye, and God bless you all, my dear friends.